Phil Wang, and welcome to Unspeakable. This is the show about inventing brand new words created by three amazing guests. On this show, we boldly go where no linguistics expert has gone before. No, not on a date. Sorry, Susie. But to new uncharted heights of lexicography. New words are often made up out of two existing words. The new construction is called a portmanteau. Not to be confused with the medical condition portman's toe, which is gout. Now, we'll be meeting our panel very shortly, but first, let's welcome my amazing co-host. She's the Doc to my Marty, the Blackadder to my Baldric, the world-class lexicographer to my stand-up comedian. It's Susie Dent!
You just have me reminiscing about Blackadder when Edmund starts to introduce words into Samuel Johnson's dictionary, because Johnson, Robbie Coltrane, brilliant, says, this dictionary contains every word in our beloved English language. He says, every word, sir. I'm anaseptic, phrasmotic, even compunctuous to have caused you such pericombobulation. Do you remember? It's like this. Although Baldric discovers that not even sausage was in Johnson's dictionary. And you know the Victorian slang term for sausages?
No.
Bags of mystery. You never know what's in them.
I mean, imagine Victorians are kind of vegan sausages. Those are bags of even more mystery. I don't even know. No idea what's in them. Okay, now the challenge is, can our panel come up with any brand new words as interesting as bag of mystery? Let's meet them and find out. Joining us for this episode are Desiree Burch, Max Fosh, and Rebecca Front. Rebecca, hi.
Hello.
Hello. Rebecca Front, like me, your surname is also a noun and a verb.
Indeed.
Yeah. Coincidentally, the front is where the Wang is.
Depends on what you do for a living, okay?
Unless you're a drag queen, that's right.
I can't get that image out of my mind now, thank you. Can I just say, just at this point, that my dad, in fact, was once working in an advertising agency and wondered why everybody had gathered round to see him in the morning. And it was because his new colleague was called Stan Back.
Oh.
Which is just so, Stand Back anyway is so perfect, isn't it? But then Stand Back, meet Mr. Front.
Desiree, hello.
Hi.
Before becoming a comedian, you actually used to work as a dominatrix.
I did. Amongst other things, but yes.
I knew I recognised you.
You were blindfolded the whole time. It's just by voice.
Max has got exactly the kind of voice that would have a dominatrix as well. Exactly the kind of...
Again, please.
Desiree, did you ever hear any unusual safe words in your time?
Yeah, so this was back in the early 2000s. I think something that's going to kill the mood, like inside job or, you know what I mean? Like that's a good thing for a safe word, or safe phrase, we'll say.
Bad debt. Yeah.
Yes.
Max, in 2021, you actually ran to be London mayor, but you were beaten by, among others, Count Binface. No shame in that? No shame in being beaten by the best? What word would you use to sum up your political career, do you think?
I would say visionary. I don't think London was quite ready for my, punchy style of politics. Included in my manifesto was that, hey, London's got a lot of parks, but no Jurassic parks, and I wanted to change that. So that's what I would say, visionary. Also, actually, I don't know whether we've got any Hungarian listeners, but I get told regularly that Fosh in Hungarian means explosive diarrhea.
How about that?
I know, touring in Budapest is difficult.
All right, well, let's play Unspeakable. Each of our guests has come armed with a brand new word of their own invention that describes an experience, emotion, object, or sensation that currently has no word to define it. Whichever word I deem to be the most useful for humanity will be added to the one true book of books. No, not my book, interviewing members of my family who were born just after the war, Boomerwangs. It all came back to them. I'm talking about the Unspeakable Dictionary. So let's start the game with our first word, which comes from Desiree Burch. Desiree, please give us your word, then tell us what it means and why it matters to you.
So my word is friend snip. And that is the act of pruning friends out of one's life. Because it is an important thing to do if you live long enough. If you want to grow, you will have to let go of some people who are at once meaningful to you, but no longer actually serve your progress as a human being. And most of us do this just the passive way by like just not texting back. You know, like you could just like, you know, be like, oh, I'm busy forever. Actually, I've moved and I've died, you know, like all of those kinds of things. But, you know, sometimes a very active like, hey, I noticed that you only ever want me to do things for you. And then that's it. So, you know, friend snip them, right?
And when you friend snip someone, is it quite active?
Well, look, I personally think it probably should be more active, but I also understand that most of us are cowards. And
it's almost harder to break up with a friend than to break up with a boyfriend or girlfriend. When you break up with a friend, you're basically saying, look, I think we need to stop texting each other every fortnight.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we need to stop gossiping about that one coworker that we had 10 years ago or whatever it is, right? Although those are the best friends to have, that are just friends for like one thing.
Yeah, I have one friend that I only DM clips of Meghan Markle saying embarrassing things on podcasts. That's our whole relationship. There's usually go, haha, she's done it again.
Yeah, and those are perfect friendships.
See you tomorrow, because it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Susie, friend snip. I think this is a very useful idea.
I agree. I think this is the word that we need.
What, you need personally?
Yes.
What a way to find out.
Ironically, though, so the word friend, it's come from a really ancient family, and it's one of its relatives is free, and they both go back to a root meaning to love. But this is all about freedom from your friends, isn't it? Rather than kind of freedom with your friends. But snip is a word that can make some people, particularly men, wince a little bit. So we've been calling a vasectomy a snip since only the 1980s. But worse, it started off as snip snip. Which is just, anyway. So that's my only objection, but otherwise, I think excellent.
If a man becomes a father and then gets a vasectomy, you could call that a parsnip.
No.
What do you think? That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Rebecca, how about you? Do you find it easy to let go of friends?
Oh no. No, I was listening in awe to you just talking about that, because I am so English and so uptight. The thought of having to confront anybody, even in a polite way, and say,
go on, name one.
I really don't. That's not working for me. I just couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Do you have friends, though, where it's like mutually understood that like you just say my friend so-and-so, but there's no interaction or friendship whatsoever? Like where you've drifted apart in a way that's like noticeable?
Oh, God, yeah. Now you come to mention it, yeah. No, I'm sort of sitting here wondering, to be perfectly honest, whether I'm the one that everybody needs to because I do find it impossible to end a friendship or indeed a phone call.
Yeah, the British are terrible at confrontation. Yeah. I think that's literally the reason British people like move to the country after a bit. They're like, well, I need to get rid of these friends, but I don't want the confrontation.
Yeah, that's totally me. I completely understand that.
Well, thank you very much. Wonderful choice of a brand new word. Give it up to Desiree for friend snip. Now, here at Unspeakable, we don't just mint shiny new words, we're also the Battersea Dogs Home for lovely but uncared for words that need some love and a good walk. So to celebrate one of these verbal strays, it's over to Susie to present our regional word of the week.
This comes from the south of England, and it is a willy war. Willy war is a sudden downward gust of wind.
Wow. I mean, I've heard of a thumb war, but a willy war sounds a lot more painful, I have to say.
Okay, so it's W-A-W at the end, just to clarify.
Willy war.
Willy war.
And it's a sudden downward gust of wind?
Yes.
Oh, right.
So it just...
Hence the willy, presumably. Is that why?
I think it's I think willy here is not what you're making of. I think it's... Actually, that's a really good point. I haven't looked at the etymology of it. But I'm just thinking maybe it's just the use of someone's name, like you've got Will-o'-the-Wisp. You know, so maybe it's, Naughty Willy.
And if you're not sure whether
Please
or not...
don't just cut those two words out.
Okay, it's time to hear our second newly created word of the show, and this one's been brought to us by Max Fosh. Max, please tell us your word, give us a brief definition, and tell us why it matters to you.
So, my word is babble tag, and that is a word to describe the name that you get given by a child, which then sticks. Now, this obviously normally happens kind of with grandparents, because the aforementioned baby can't really pronounce the name. This happened in my family. My granddad called him Yang Yang. His name was Michael. Actually, we didn't stop there. We had 4 grandparents, Mima, Pitu, Yang Yang, and Gran. Short for granddad. We kind of went on a writing strike when it came to Gran. Weirdly, they don't answer to those names anymore because they are dead. Babble tag is my word.
Yang Yang. Grandfather's called Yang Yang.
Yeah.
I also had a very sweet name for my granddad, my Chinese granddad, Mr. Wang. Or if we're being informal, sir. If we're just hanging around.
It's usually the first grandchild, isn't it, I think, who nominates, the name. So my son was the first grandchild, and my dad has a beard, and so he decided to call him Beardy, and my dad, in fact, is still universally known now as Beardy by everybody. But it kind of spread a bit because my son, not the beard, but my son started to refer to all people with beards as Beardy. And there was this one occasion when we were in a cafe, and my little boy, I think then was about 18 months or something. We were just at that point of trying to really make sure he said his pleases and thank yous. And we bought some cake off this man, and we said, did you say thank you, Ollie? Say thank you. And he said, thank you, Beardy, cake man. So after that, we couldn't go into that cafe.
Beardy cake man, that's poor Hollywood, isn't it?
Maybe it was.
Susie Poosie, did you have a babble tag when you were a child?
Exactly that. My sister called me Susie Poosie.
Really?
Yes. And the other one, my school friends called me Denticles. Yes. But I just to put my nerd hat back on. It was only ever off for a second.
Is it ever off, Susie?
Nickname is quite fun because nickname started off as an eek name, in which eek, E-K-E, meant additional. So it was an eek name. And if you say it quickly, the N kind of migrates to the eek. So it became a neek name. And that happens all the time in English. So an umpire was a numpire, an adder was a nadder, and a newt was an ute, and so on. And an apron was a napron or an apron. So because we say these things, the N just kind of moves about at will.
I get that with iced tea. Sometimes someone said, you want an iced tea? And I go, yeah, of course it should be nice. It should be a nice tea. Don't give me a horrible tea. What kind of monster are you?
One of my earliest memories was listening to my dad on the phone spell out Fosh to somebody on the phone. So he'd be like, it's like fish, but with an O. That's what he'd always say, Fosh, it's like fish with an O. And then one day we got a letter for Matthew Fisho. So he stole that pretty quickly.
At least it wasn't Matthew Hungarian diarrhea.
Yeah.
So it could be worse, couldn't it?
It always is.
Okay, well, that's our second word of the show, babble tag. Thanks for bringing it, Max Fosh. Now, here at Unspeakable, we are verbal horticulturalists, and as well as growing beautiful new words, we like to keep a nice, well-kept garden, which means doing a bit of pruning, like Desiree does with friends. Each of our guests can nominate what they think is a weed of a word to be pulled out and thrown in a bucket of the word jail. Desiree, let's start with you. What word would you like to get rid of?
Grappling? Grappling with. I think a lot of our sort of political discourse talks about a lot of, and this segment of society is grappling with something. And I feel like a lot of times it's misused because most of the time we say like, oh, they're grappling with these things. It's like, they're not. They're just numbing themselves and ignoring it. You know, like when you see grappling as a sport, it's literally like, go for anything, knock them on the ground. And it's like, I think the word is useful, but I think it's only useful if you have a hook and you're going up the side of a cliff. Or if you're fighting someone by grabbing their legs. But other than that, you're probably not actually grappling. You're probably doing a number of other things conversationally.
Yeah, I actually hate being told that I've asked a good question. If I ask a question, someone says, that's a good question, because then all I think for the next 5 minutes, I'm not listening to the answer, I just think, I asked a good question. Whoa, well done, Phil. Let's play that question again. I'll go back over the question in my head and never listen to the answer. But yeah, grappling, it's too sort of physical. My theory is that it's a way for, let's face it, the nerdiest people in the world to feel like professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, to feel strong.
Yes.
I don't even know what an academic wrestler would be called. The understander. I don't know what. Susie, what can you tell us about grappling?
Well, interesting, Desiree was talking about the hook, because it does go back to an old French word for a hook, and it was a hook used for harvesting grapes. So to grapple is the sibling of grape and grapefruits, because grapefruits kind of grow in clusters. So yeah, just a look at it. Anyway, but you're right, it's full on hyperbole.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. It's just part of the universal bigging up of our language.
Too much bigging.
It's too much, yeah.
Rebecca, what about you? What word would you like to banish to oblivion?
Well, I've mentioned this word to a couple of women of my kind of generation in the last couple of days, and universally had a kind of shiver of disgust. So I'm going to say the word now, and I'm just warning you people. The word I would like to consign to the word grave is panties. There we go, you see. I've never yet met anybody who would voluntarily refer to their undergarments as panties. It sounds...
Oh my God, I totally do.
It's very unpleasant.
I think the issue, Rebecca, might be with how you're saying panties. You're not helping.
What really upsets me is that it seems to have kind of elbowed out of the way the more robust version, which of course is knickers. That is what we should be saying. That's what we always said when I was a child. Get some knickers on and let's go to school. Knickers is just solid, isn't it?
It's
Knickers.
so British. I feel like I should salute when I hear
Knickers is very kind of British Pathé 1940s. You see the girls there with their knickers on? My mind.
Yes. Likewise, undercrackers, also fine.
Yeah. Undercrackers? I've heard of undercrackers.
Okay. Undercrackers, or maybe that's something my dad invented. It's a very wartime kind of a word.
That's where the Jacobs went.
I don't really have a dog in this fight because I only wear thongs, but I feel like...
Knickers actually are American, because it goes back to the Illustrated History of New York, and it featured someone called Dietrich Knickerbocker, and he was wearing these kind of breeches. So they were breeches, and panties were also pantaloons, and they were worn by Pantalone, who was a character in the Italian theatre, who wore these incredibly brightly coloured trousers. So they both started as trousers and then kind of crept up. And But did you know that when they opened, apparently, King Tutankhamun's tomb, they found 145 pairs of spare undercrackers that were kind of nappy-like.
Really?
145 pairs of pants?
Yes.
In King Tut's
Yes.
tomb?
Like he was just going to keep waking up and then needing to poo.
I mean, it's kind of depressing that Tutankhamun has more pairs of pants than I've bought in my entire life. But those two pairs are still going strong, so...
So wait, the New York Knicks are the New York Knickerbockers, so that means they're the New York panties.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's tough for LeBron James.
Max, how about you? What word would you like to get rid of forever?
The word I'd like to get rid of is Q, mainly because it's greedy. Plain and simple, right? It's one syllable followed by 4 vowels. Now, unfortunately, I feel so bad for someone who's trying to learn English for the first time in this country, because there's varieties of different way. Like snooker, they've got a Q. They've been sensible and shortened it. But imagine you are in line with some snooker equipment at a horticultural centre. You're in a queue with a Q at Q. It's just an absolute nightmare for anyone. I do have a potential word to replace it with, which I think that Q should just be renamed a standwich.
Because we're a long
Nice
sandwich
little line. Nice little Subway sandwich, Stanwich.
Oh, that's nice. That's sweet. What do you think? Yeah, Susie, what do you think? Stanwich a better option
I
for
like
Q?
it. Q is based on the same idea. So it's from the French queue, which is spelled the same way, and it's an animal's tail. So it's because it looks like a tail. So the Q that we use in snooker is related to that in terms of the sort of long line. It's just, as you say, we changed the spelling. But yeah, it's what we call almost autological, because the Q is there and then the other letters queue up behind it. And autological means it kind of fulfills itself. It looks like itself.
Right, like race car. You ever write down race car? It looks like a race car.
Ah, and bed. Looks like a bed.
And shark. If you think shark has got a little fin at the...
Very nice.
Yeah, not funny, but quite
Yeah.
So a Q also means an animal's tail.
Yeah.
Well, that's a queue I would not want to join. A long line that ends at a dog's butt. No thanks. Well, thanks to the panel for your wonderful word jail suggestions. It is now time to unveil our third and final contender for a brand new word, and this one is created by Rebecca Front. Rebecca, please give us your word and tell us what it means and why it matters to you.
So my new coinage would be the word Carcrashian. I have, this is my sort of guilty secret, I have a kind of insatiable appetite for really appalling television, particularly the kind of television where overfed, overmade up women shout at each other. I just love it. And I started watching initially when my daughter was a teenager because I was kind of slightly patronisingly looking for some way of bonding with her, and she was watching Real Housewives, and so I did too, and then I was in. And trust me, there is no way out. I mean, I've just... quite recently, I was approached to see whether I might be interested in doing Celebrity Mastermind, to which my answer was, why would I put myself through that? And then I justified this to my family by saying, well, I don't have a specialist subject anyway. There's nothing that I know anything about. My daughter just very quietly got on her phone and said, OK, there's a quiz here for Real Housewives of New York. And she proceeded to ask me about 15 questions, and I got 14 of them right. So they are really, I'm ashamed to say this stuff is my specialist subject. But the thing about it is, of course, that you know it's morally reprehensible and you know you shouldn't be watching, but you just can't look away. Hence, Carcrashian.
Yeah. Reality TV really sucks you in. And as a guy, you always try to pretend that you're not going to get sucked in. And like with my ex-girlfriend, she'd have Made in Chelsea on. And I'd do the dad watching, you know, where I'm just sort of in the corner of the room, pretending I'm doing a job. And I'm just watching with my arms crossed, standing up. And at first I'm like, God, this is so dumb. These idiots have nothing better to do. And in 20 minutes, I'm sat on the sofa going, why is Rez saying that to Ruby? They've been together 10 years.
It really shows the difference in our positions in our career, Rebecca, because you were asked to go on Celebrity Mastermind, which is very exciting. The only approach I've ever had is celebrity naked attraction. So... And it's airing next year, guys, to be kind.
Get that Zoom ready.
Yeah.
I did not mean to... I didn't even know there was a celebrity naked attraction.
Neither did I.
Wow.
I actually felt I don't know whether they were legit or not. The more I say this out loud for the first time, I'm thinking, no.
Sure was a British number that came up on your phone? Susie, are you keeping up with the car crashes? What do you think?
I think it's great. I think it's much better than guilty pleasure, which I find really annoying because there's something quite performative about guilty pleasure. Because why talk about it if you don't want people to know about it? Just do it anyway. But the fact that you're talking about it means I have to have other people knowing about it. So it's like self-gratification in a way.
Yes, it's kind of showing off as well. As I don't really take myself that seriously. I've got this guilty pleasure.
First meaning of guilty pleasure actually was a brothel. Back in the 19th century, yeah.
So I'm off to the guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Don't stay up.
Or do stay up, depending on...
I mean, I I think that just as far as your guilt about the pleasure, which no one should really have, I find that the smarter my friend is, the more trashy the television show that they like. Like, I have a good friend who's like a criminologist and a professor, and like she's literally there for every kind of housewife, every bling empire. Like, she's just like, this is, I guess it's better than huffing glue. Like, you do need a way to decompress that isn't going to be that damaging, and watching something that's just like pure, unadulterated like spectacle is probably a good relief. Yeah.
That's incredible, though, that a guilty pleasure used to be a brothel. And how boring are we now that guilty pleasure is like having an iced bun before dinner?
Very true.
Well, there we have Rebecca's choice for a brand new word, car-crashian. Please give it up to Rebecca. We now have all three words that our celebrities have brought to the show. Friend snip from Desiree Burch, babble tag from Max Fosh, and car-crashian from Rebecca Front. The question is, which one deserves a place in the Unspeakable dictionary? Wang means king in Chinese, amongst other things, and on this show, I am Wang by name and Wang by nature, because my word is final. And I've decided that our champion for today is, just because it reminded me of Made in Chelsea, which I loved, car-crashian from Rebecca Front. Congratulations. Before we go, we've got just enough time to see if our audience have any suggestions for the Unspeakable dictionary. We have Andy from Shortlands. What word would you like to add to the Unspeakable dictionary, Andy?
Okay, my word is toement, and it refers to the period of time where your entire body freezes between your little toe coming into contact with the leg of the bed and your brain working out the appropriate amount of pain.
Yeah, that's really good. Time sort of stops for a while, doesn't it? I feel like that's the adult version. You know when if babies have a fall, sometimes they just freeze and they'll look to an adult to see if they should cry about it. Exactly. And if you go, hey, they'll go, I guess it was nothing. I feel like the adult version of that is when we bang our toe and we look around to go, should I swear right now? Like, maybe I should swear. Yeah, thanks, Andy.
There's a lot of medical proof that if you do swear, it really helps with pain.
I've heard this, relieve some of the pain.
Lalokesia, it's called.
Lalokesia?
Yeah, relief of pain, stress, frustration, all of that through a good swear.
Wow, there really is a word for
you.
everything.
Yeah.
Well done. It's almost like Susie's really good at words. Thanks so much.
Quite good at swearing.
Oh, you should see her backstage, man. Thank you, Andy. And with that, we've reached the end of the show. Max wants to get back to dip-dap, ping-pong, and the rest of his family. Rebecca wants to catch up on the 17 new series of Real Housewives that launched in the last half hour. And Desiree just wants us all out of her life forever. Thanks very much to the incomparably brilliant Susie Dent and to our guests, Desiree Burch, Max Fosh, and Rebecca Front. I'm Phil Wang, and this has been Unspeakable. Goodbye! Unspeakable was presented by Phil Wang and Susie Dent, with guests Desiree Burch, Max Fosh, and Rebecca Front. It was devised by Joe Varley, additional material was written by Matthew Crosby and James Farmer, and the producer was John Harvey. It's a Brown Bread production for BBC Radio 4.